Miss Evers, first, let me say I am extremely blessed and I feel honored that you decided to sit down with me. So thank you. Thank you.
You are more than welcome. And you're so very kind to say that.
It's truthful. You know, people may remember you as Medgar's wife, chairwoman of the NAACP.
Yes.
Perhaps all the legacy that your husband leaves behind. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today, I want to know who is Myrlie Beasley. Who is she? Please tell me.
Who is Myrlie Beasley? Myrlie Beasley is a person born into a family that was small, but very close. I am an only child, and I hasten to say I was not spoiled. And I do mean that sincerely. My parents were quite young, and that year that I was born was 1933. Young couples depended heavily on grandparents to help. And as I understand it, my father's mother came across the street from where she lived, and she said to my mother and father, "I don't like the way this child is being taken care of. I'm taking her home with me now." I said, "How could that be?" That's what happened in 1933. If grandparents thought you weren't being taken care of well enough, they simply just picked you up and took you home with them. And that's what happened with me. It's just across the street. What my grandmother, Anna McCain Beasley, did just that. And she gave my parents permission to come and visit me anytime they wished. That was a blessing for me, I guess, because I had the best of care at one place and across the street the other. Being an only child, people would say to me, "Oh, you must be terribly spoiled." I was anything but spoiled. Much was expected of me. I was encouraged to excel in my classes at school. My father's mother, who was a school teacher, sat right next to me each and every night while I did my homework. Helped whenever she needed to, but she sat by my side every night. And she would always tell me, "Yes, you can." I said I couldn't. "Yes, you can." "Yes, you will." I'll never forget that. I didn't like it when she was saying it, but I certainly came to understand later why she was doing that. I am so blessed to have been born into the family that I was. My mother, my father's sister, who was the organist for the church that we belonged to, and that's where the musical part came into my life. And none of them believed in spoiling a child, only pushing to advance. But there was also something else they instilled in me from the very beginning. You give back to your people, to your community. That's, I guess, what you see sitting here.
As you mentioned, born in Vicksburg, you've told me about your childhood. Briefly, you mentioned organist. You're a pianist.
My Aunt Myrlie did not believe in exploring into the world of jazz. It had to be the music books there. Formal. I was brought up that way, year after year after year, and I was told that I would be a concert pianist. It's like I had no choice. I'll skip ahead just very briefly.
Sure.
My grandmother was deceased at the time that this happened, but my aunt was there. I did perform at Carnegie Hall. One concert, frightened to death, but that was my tribute to those two women who had nurtured me from such an early age, and they told me, you can, you must. And that's been kind of the motto for my life.
What was the advice that your grandmother and your aunt gave you when you were getting ready to drive onto that campus?
I guess the thing that comes to mind first have a strong belief in God. Believe in yourself. Don't sell yourself short. I'm looking at my daughter now. I don't know if I should share the other. Keep your legs closed.
And we've all heard our grandparents say that, right?
Yes, but the thought of their baby, and I am an only child, and I will add, I was not spoiled by any means. But they were very, very interested in my being what I should be, of what they envisioned I should be. And oftentimes I really felt pushed.
Did they say anything to you about veterans?
Don't you dare get involved with any veterans.
We know how that story went.
One of the first things that happened was I met a veteran.
What was your impression, first impression of that veteran?
That he was smart. That he was a gentleman. And even at that tender age of, what was I, 16, 17, I knew he had a smooth tongue. The other thing that was very attractive about him was that he didn't try to push himself on me. All of his conversations were about books, current events, and I'd never had a young man approach me on an intellectual basis. He did. I learned a lot from him, just talking about current events, how he saw things. And he always wanted to know what I thought. And I really had not practiced thinking about what I thought about issues. So in a sense, it was a training session for me to sharpen my mind and lift it from a teenager of 17 to a man who was 25. A lot to learn. He never pushed. It was always higher level. And I remember thinking, gee, am I unattractive? Gee, am I smart enough? He was cunning enough to play the role that he did as friend and teacher.
And a year later, you're married. On Christmas Eve. It all began at Alcorn State University.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what that means to you, because it's where your family actually began.
It means a few things to me. One, that my family, who worked very hard, my grandmother, my aunt were school teachers, deeply religious, who loved me dearly and wanted the best for me, sacrificed so much to put me in school there because we were not people of wealth at all. That they insisted that I do whatever I had to do with excellence. They emphasized that. And no excuses. No excuses. I wanted to please him because they sacrificed so much to put me through school, piano lessons, and everything else that they could afford. I can only consider myself as being very, very blessed to be born into the family that I was, because I had love all around me. Not one day in my life, and I'm almost 90, have I been without love. Not one day. How blessed can one be?
Is it that love that provided the intestinal fortitude for you to be able to stand during everything that you did? Your home was firebombed. Mm-hmm. You had the KKK terrorizing your family. Mm-hmm. You lost your husband. You were his secretary in the NAACP, organizing voter drives, raising money. Was it love that allowed you to stand?
It was a deep love for my family. It was also my belief in God. That's it. Here I sit. Life has not been easy at all. There have been parts of my life that have been filled with hatred. Hatred is quite a motivator. Quite a motivator. I remember telling my husband, Medgar, I can't make it without you. We knew what would eventually happen. We were holding each other and crying because we knew the time was short. Medgar told me, and I quote, "Myrlie, you're stronger than you think you are." No, I'm not. I can't make it without you. He said, you will. And you take care of my children. I'll never forget that. At that point, both of us were crying. And I told him, of course, I will take care of your children. They are my children too. I don't know, there was something about that bond that we had that took us through good times and rough times and all times. When you know you're living with danger, when you know that you might not see each other the next day or the night, you make the most of the time that you have. Of course, Medgar and I had our disagreements. He was 8 years older than I. He was a veteran. I was just a young kid, as he said, learning my way. And he said, I'm glad to be your teacher. And as I told him later, I'm delighted, teacher. Both of us were religious without being overly so. But our beliefs in God were the same. That certainly helped us through some very tough times. Not in the marriage, but what was outside. We had 3 wonderful children, we loved dearly. And there were so many good people around us who were working for the same cause of freedom, of dignity, of equal opportunity. You know, I think of it now, and I guess we probably could not have had a better life, this inward. An abundance of love, an abundance of respect for each other, an abundance of the willing to work for what we felt was right. And Medgar certainly took the lead in that. I did not.
What would the 89-year-old Myrlie tell the Myrlie in 1950?
I would tell her the same thing that Medgar told her as a young woman. Dry your eyes. You can do it. You can do whatever's necessary. You are stronger than you think you are. Do what you need to do. Do what you must do.
Have you done everything you wanted to do in your lifetime?
There isn't too much that I would like to do that I haven't already been given the grace to do. One and foremost, with the love and support that I had from my grandmother and my aunt, I wanted very much to perform at Carnegie Hall. I did have that opportunity. I did do it. That was my tribute to them. Mm-hmm. I guess there was this need to become a true activist, to follow up behind Medgar in his work. Because even today I shudder at the thought of his not being remembered and the price that he paid and what he gave. Becoming the chairman of the NAACP was like a tribute, not only to him, but all of the others who had worked so hard, given their lives for him. I wanted to be the best mother that I could. And I'm so proud of our 3 children. The eldest son is deceased, but I have this wonderful daughter who has never left my side. She told me on one occasion, "Mom, don't cry. I'll take care of you." Never forgotten that. Little tot. She's done just that. I'm so proud of her and her accomplishments in her life and the person that she is. She's nice, she's kind, but she is tough. And I'm so pleased with that. Our eldest son, Darryl, had a degree of success in what he wanted to do as an artist. But unfortunately, he had cancer. died. The youngest son, Van, is doing, I think, what Medgar saw as a possibility for him. Medgar never went any place without his camera. He documented everything. He gave Van a little camera. Van was little, and he used to follow his dad around. Yes. I'm not sure if Medgar thought that Van would become a photographer or not, but he certainly gave him enough cameras along the way. And I'm pleased to say that Van got his photography degree at a very prestigious school. And he just came off of a month and a half shoot in Europe.
Oh. Yeah.
The movie. And he's done 2 or 3. So his career is coming along. And, I just think back over what Medgar saw in his 3 children. Those instincts that a parent has that can be passed on to a child, you don't have to drill it in them all of the time, but enough here and here and here, I think they automatically pick that up. Daughter's a fighter, just like her dad. And I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of the others. I found myself smiling. I said, "Hey, Medgar, look at them." And just feel all of the pride that I can with it. We are truly blessed as a family. We are truly blessed as a people, even though we have so much that confronts us.
What do you want your legacy to be?
A woman who knew love from the very beginning of her life to this day, who was taught to do and fight for what was right, young child. Upon meeting Medgar Evers, I learned what a real fight was and determination. The love of family, not taking no for an answer. To open up to life and say, here I am. We all can move forward. We all can have success if we want it badly enough. And don't forget that we are all human beings who in the end report to God.
You're not done. What's next? I don't believe God is done with you yet. What's next?
So I really don't know. I have been contemplating writing another book. I have quite a bit to say about the historic movement. I still feel very strongly about the discrimination in our society. I would like to do something that would inspire people not to give up. Find a goal, set it, go after it, be inclusive. There's so much that needs to be changed in our society and in our country. Be involved. Don't sit off in a corner and think you have it made, because all of that can disappear in a moment's notice. Good education, respect for yourself and respect for others, and never take no for an answer.
We know you as the fighter. We know you as the activist. We know you as the mother. We know you as the wife. What don't people know about Myrlie Evers?
That sometimes she looks at herself in the mirror and she says to that image, Myrlie May, you can do better.
After everything.
And remembering the words that Medgar Evers said to me, you are stronger than you think you are.
Finally, a special note to girls, women, and to the Alcorn alumni. What would you tell them?
Young women, always try to be your best. Be very protective of yourself. What you do. Sometimes things will come back and bite you. Be thoughtful. But give where you feel you need to, or where you are needed. And I'm referring in a positive way. It's also very important to respect yourself and to demand respect from others. I see too many cases where that doesn't happen today. I worry about that. But my goodness, I'm almost 90 years old, so why wouldn't I? Don't give up. It's very easy to do. Keep working at your goal.
What do you have to say to Alcorn alumni?
For Alcorn's alumni, be true to the college that helped you develop into the person that you are. Support that college, the students. Be involved. Don't push it aside. You walked that path. Help others to do the same. We'll all be grateful for it.
I have so many other questions, and I would get kicked out of this room, but I know that we have to go. Let me say, I love you. I love your spirit. I love what you have stood for. It may sound cliché, but you have given us women wind beneath our wings to keep soaring with your book, How to Fly. I personally want to say thank you.
Thank you. And this has been my pleasure.
We love you.
It's been my pleasure. Love you right back.